How exciting is that?
Yep.
That poor Buckfast has been sitting there looking at you.
I know, the ice is melted into it. There's just sad little condensation droplets going down the side. I will swallow you next time. That sounds awful.
Doesn't
Don't
it?
cut that bit out. Don't put that in as a blooming...
No, we're definitely leaving that one in. We're definitely leaving it in.
Hey, I'm trying to live until I die. Come connect, you know it's a lewd state of mind. Yeah. Talking traveling, if you wanna fly. Fitness and finance, living a better life. Keep it raw, no filter. Living with no limit. Thank you for tuning in. Come on, let's get it.
Is that true? Does that really happen?
Sometimes, yeah. It's either, or my brain would be a brain that's jumping off the walls in the cave. You would close your eyes and go to sleep, but then you think about this thing and you think about that thing and you think about the other thing. So it's hard to turn it off.
That song's going to be in my head for the rest of the day. Jess Carpenter, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming back. You are actually the star of episode number 31 and 32, ADHD Highway to Distraction.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you remember the experience? Is it still fresh in your head?
I do. I remember the adrenaline, and then I remember the imposter syndrome, waiting for it to come out, thinking, oh God, what have I said? Because ADHD, I talk quite a lot. Some of it's good and some of it's waffle. So.
Well, for those people that don't know, you had an adult diagnosis,
yes.
ADHD, which was what the podcast was all about.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when it did come out? Did the imposter syndrome sort of fade away, or were you happy with what we produced? Because the idea from our point of view, from Leeward's point of view, is to educate.
Yes.
So hopefully if somebody took one thing away from that podcast, our job's done.
Yeah.
Do you think that we did that? Do you think?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think it's, I sometimes just need a little bit of time to let those emotions regulate. Once I've listened, I think I played it several times, and then once I'd listened to it quite a few times and I'd had some really positive feedback from friends and family, then I thought, oh yeah, okay, we did all right. But it felt like I needed that external kind of acceptance of it before I was able to internally accept it, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. Oh, look, I feel the same way as well when we put podcasts out. I mean, as you know, when you're in the studio here, you're sort of in a bit of a bubble, in a dome. It's really comfortable, which is the environment that we want to create for our guests, so that we can draw the information and the stories out of them. But sometimes you soon forget what you've actually talked about. You know, and for me, I do all the editing of our podcast, which is great because I relive it and I go over exactly. And obviously, I'm my own worst critic, so it's good for me to be able to adapt and do things a little bit differently, ask different questions, or get different ideas in my head about how I'm going to draw information out, or how I'm going to pronounce, or how I'm going to come across.
Yeah.
And as I said, my job is to draw the information out of a guest. So, yeah, it's the whole process. This is the reason why I really enjoy it. This is my happy place. I love it. And as I said, if we can educate our listeners and our viewers, just one small thing. I mean, as I said, my job is done. And as I said, with your podcast was actually the first one that we did 2 episodes because it was so long, which is not a bad thing. And as you know, the long format discussion, which is what we've always wanted to do, is a perfect avenue or a perfect platform for people to have information drawn out of them, and to maybe work through some stuff that's maybe going on in the head, or about a question or about a situation.
Yep.
So I think in that respect, we're on the right track. We're doing a Maddie, we're doing a good job. We've got a thumbs up from Maddie.
Only one thumbs up.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
There you go, 2 up. So as I said, it's a pleasure to have you back. There's a lot that's changed. It was September last year was when we did when we recorded your podcast.
Yeah.
Does it seem like it was just yesterday?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah, it does. I had such a fun time. I would not have come back had I had an awful
You
experience.
did jump at the offer pretty quickly, didn't you?
I just wanted to get out of the house. I just leave Timmy with the toddler. But yeah, I enjoy sharing my passions and my interests. And like you said, if I can help one person just make a small change or think about things a bit differently, then it's all worth it. So
Yeah, exactly. And we did have a really good response from a lot of the stuff that we put on Instagram, and that, which is great.
Good.
I think one of the posts that we had, you were talking about leaving cupboards open. My comment at the time was that must be really annoying for everybody around you, but that was one of our biggest posts so far.
still happens.
I'm sure it does.
Still happens.
What is there a need to change it?
No, but it's like then when I walk into a room, and I've left all that, it's then annoying because it's visually not particularly.
So annoying for you to come back into, or annoying for everybody else around
everybody. It's annoying for me to come back into it, and then it's annoying when one of Tim's favourite things to say to me is, put that back in its permanent place, or he'll go, permanent place, Jess? Because I'll like leave something on the side. So that might go on, not my tombstone, that will go on his tombstone.
Yes.
Permanent place, Tim.
Permanent
Found one for you.
Perfect. I've got a visual in my head and a headstone right now. Poor Tim.
No, we love Tim.
Tim's going to come back as well. Tim was pretty upset because you got the call first, wasn't he?
Yeah. You know.
Tim, look, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. No, you'll be back.
Tim will be back.
I'm sure Tim's got a lot to tell us from the last time he was in here as well.
Yeah, he's got lots of stories.
Well, there's been so much life happening since then, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what's changed with you?
So you introduced me as Jess Carpenter, but that's now changed.
Who are you now?
Well, no, I'm now Jess Clement. Clement. So still JC.
Mrs. Clement?
Mrs. Clement. That
JC.
sounds old. Yeah.
How cool's that?
Yes, I've always been a JC, so that's not changed.
How did the wedding go? We were talking about stag do's and stagettes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How did everything go with you? What was the lead up like
To
the wedding?
Yeah.
You obviously had family coming from the UK.
I think what in our heads we discussed it Christmas 2023, and we were going to do a very small, intimate wedding. I think I mentioned that we were supposed to get married in Mallorca, and then COVID happened a few years ago, so we postponed the whole thing.
I think you did, yeah, from memory you did.
And then we went out for drinks on Christmas, and I think I was like, I think I'd like to let's maybe try again. And he didn't say no, so I took that and ran with it.
Perfect.
But what started as a small, intimate thing, and we didn't think many people from the UK would come over. There was no expectation that they would, because it's expensive, it's a very long flight. And actually quite a few people did come over. And so you're organising a wedding as well as trying to organise the logistics of several different couples and families and where they're staying and how we're going to keep them entertained. So instead of it becoming this one day, it ended up being like a month.
Wow. But you wouldn't have it any other way, though. I mean, how good is it that the friends and the family
it was
made the effort?
It was great. Everyone's an adult, so they can choose.
No, you'll find that's
I thought this was like a non-verbal, like.
No.
Move it down. I'm doing okay. You know, like someone scratches their nose and you think you've got something on their nose. We're extremely lucky and very fortunate that people took that time to come over, and hopefully they had a really nice time. We had really good weather. It was over Cup Week.
So that's Melbourne Cup.
Sorry, Melbourne Cup Week.
Yeah, which is a Melbourne thing,
yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Big horse. It's a big horse racing event.
Yeah.
For those people that don't know. So and that's probably the start, because we've had a really good summer this year. So that would have been the start of summer, which is great, because there's nothing worse than planning something and the weather's just shit.
Yeah, I think that's why we picked November. A lot of our friends are quite into horse racing. So we thought
Perfect.
if we picked something around, there's events that they can come and do, as well as just coming over here for, you know, some legal
Well, that's just considerate, really, isn't it? When you think
That's
about it,
who
because
we
as you
are.
say, that's just, I'm getting all warm and fuzzy just thinking about it.
And they got
you know?
to see Ronan Keating.
Oh, really?
Well,
Oh,
he
that's
didn't come.
right.
He didn't come to our wedding.
He was there for
yeah.
the horse racing.
We're not that
wasn't he?
rich. Yeah, he was there at, was it Oaks Day? And it was great.
Brilliant.
So yeah, we did some wine tours, and then we went off to Noosa. So yeah, we had a really fun. Hopefully, they had a really fun few weeks.
I'm sure they did. Well, they got out of the UK. I mean, that's just fun in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, they
Was
did.
there a lot of complaining?
About the wedding?
No, just general.
Oh, about the UK?
No, well, I'm making an assumption that all people from UK complain.
Oh, we do like to moan. No, they were okay. I think I'm trying to think if anyone complained about. Oh, there were some complaints, but we won't get into that, especially when I can't have a drink.
Yes, there's no mimosas on the.
There's no mimosas.
Why, Jess? Why are there no mimosas sitting on our table right now?
Because I am pregnant.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic. That's so you've already got a young boy,
Yes.
and you're going to have another young boy.
Yeah, 2 boys.
Perfect. Well, as I said, congratulations from everybody here at the studios.
Thank you.
It's so happy for you.
Yeah.
So it's been you've had a big 6-8 months.
Yeah, plan a wedding, have a wedding, get pregnant, and first trimester was horrendous. Just
So
really
a
bad
lot
morning
of-
sickness.
Oh, I could think of nothing worse.
Just just think about being hungover all the time,
Yeah, no. Too old for that shit.
but you haven't had the fun the
Yeah.
night before.
Yeah, boo.
But luckily, I'm feeling a lot better now, because some women have morning sickness
Oh, for the whole 9 months.
for the whole pregnancy.
Yeah. That's just unfair, really, isn't it? You know, because that's the luck of the draw.
Yeah, some people don't have anything. Some people have something. I have this pregnancy that I didn't have last time. Is my allergies have gone through the roof. So I was allergic to cats before, but now I can't even be.
Oh, really? So everything's just heightened.
I've had to buy an air purifier for the bedroom because
You don't have cats, though, do you?
No, but like I can't go to friends' houses now that have
Okay.
cats.
Yeah.
And like dust now just drives me insane.
Pollen as well? Because Melbourne's synonymous for high pollen counts, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, that
that's fun.
sucks.
Oh well, it's part of it. It's worth it for what you get at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Awesome. Hey, so I've got a question for you. We talked about your ADHD and the medication that you're on last time. Are you still on that medication? Because I'm thinking, does that affect, like being pregnant? How does that work out? Are you still on it? Are you off it? Or what's going on there in respect to that?
So when I got my diagnosis and I was speaking to the psychiatrist, he said, "Is there any questions?" And I knew that in the future I would like to try and get pregnant again. And so I'd asked his advice on medication, and he was quite his opinion was that I shouldn't take medication whilst pregnant.
Adamant?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He'd said, I would talk to your GP about it, but my professional opinion is there's not enough research out there to show that it's 100% safe.
Yeah.
I think a lot of medications actually because it's hard to do research, right? How do you research the impact of a medication without testing it on
Pregnant woman?
Yeah, which you can't do.
Exactly. So he's pretty adamant that it's obviously not safe or a good thing to do because as you said, there's no research on it. There's not enough research
Yeah.
because you can't.
Yeah, it's like with a lot of medications, they're not sure of the impact of what goes on. And so he'd said that, and then I spoke to my GP about it when I think we thought about trying to get pregnant, and she kind of agreed. And so I just decided that I was just going to stop taking it. And
Well, it sounds like a pretty easy decision to make, doesn't it?
For me, I'm somebody that I like to be told I'm not good at making decisions. If somebody said there's pros and cons, you decide, for me and my personality and my brain type, I want somebody to tell me what to do. And that's not necessarily the right or wrong thing. But if someone is, a medical professional is saying, I don't think you should do it, this is my medical opinion, I'm going to follow their advice.
Of course.
But I think there are, for a lot of women, the medication is really important to them and to their mental health and how they function. So being able to just come off it might not be a black and white choice.
Well, no, because you think about when you're pregnant, you've got all these hormones going crazy in your body, and you've got everything associated with being pregnant.
Yeah.
And the one thing you don't want to do is upset the apple cart in one way, or it to be detrimental to, as you say, your mental health.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important thing going through that whole process, is to be mentally sound.
Yeah.
And of clear mind, so you can make good decisions for everybody involved. Because it's not just you, obviously it's the unborn child.
Yeah, yeah.
So just remind us, you were on
Dexamphetamine, Dexies,
which is an upper.
It's a stimulant. Yeah.
Yep. What, 10 milligrams or somewhere?
I'm trying to think.
That?
I think it was definitely a few tablets a day. I think the ones I were on, I think they were 5 milligrams each. So I think I was supposed to take 2 in the morning and then 2 early afternoon. So I think that was about 20 milligrams. And then the idea probably would have been is that once my body had got used to that, I could have had the option of taking a long-acting one, where you take one tablet, and that's supposed to last you 6 to 8 hours. And if you start to feel a lull, you then might take one of the shorter acting ones.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, what a lot of people do. They kind of take a long-lasting one and then top up.
Well, everybody's different, aren't they? And
it
depends
completely.
On the
depends on your chemical makeup and all of that stuff. So, so I think I also, the point where I decided to come off it was not me. Every time.
It's me, not you.
Sorry. I can't help it.
No, don't apologise.
Was I had so much going on thinking about the wedding. And actually one of the things that I used to find as well with taking the Dexies was that I wasn't great at drinking on them.
Alcohol?
Yeah. Not water. Alcohol.
Yeah.
Which
was an integral part of your life.
Around the wedding, people coming to visit.
Of course.
It was and also then if I they were so busy, I didn't want to accidentally forget to take them, and then that would make me feel really, really tired, because I think my experience taking the stimulants, if I would forget to take them, I would be really tired. So sometimes I would come off them on a weekend and almost be a bit zombie-like, because it felt like my brain just was having to work overtime. So I just didn't want to do that while the wedding was on. And some people probably would think, surely that is the time when you're organising all this stuff that you would need need this. But I made the personal choice of, there's a lot of people here, there's a lot of things going on. I'm going to slowly start to wean off it while this is happening. And worst case scenario, I just have to go back on them.
Jump back on. So that was going to be my question. With stuff like that, you've got to wean yourself off, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's got to be some sort of regulated sort of taper down.
Yeah. And I spoke to my GP about it. And she just said, just see how you go. Just monitor yourself. And
how's it been since that? I mean, obviously there was an adjustment period.
Yeah.
What's the day-to-day life like now without medication?
Sometimes I feel like I would like to have that there. I think it impacts things like work. It impacts things like just functioning in the house. So,
in what way? Explain.
Just
please.
Things like keeping on top of general housework load.
Yep.
Being able to forward plan and think, oh, okay, I need to do that load of washing today, because otherwise Seb's not going to have clothes for daycare in 2 days' time.
Yeah,
It's that being able to forward plan. I think I spoke a bit about that last time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I think being pregnant, there is a part of my brain that is busy doing other stuff now. It's, you know, I kind of see it. It's almost like you've got that bit of your brain is now the nanny that kind of just travels down. And it's like, I'm not here for you anymore. I'm here for the baby.
Yeah. And of course, you're running your own business as well, too,
Yeah.
on top of everything else.
So it's thinking about the therapy and the making sure I'm on top of research and providing the best service for my clients, as well as invoicing and diary management. And there's definitely big shout out to some of the parents of the kids, because the amount of times I've double booked appointments, or I've said, let's book that appointment in on that day. Have been distracted, haven't gone to put that change into my diary.
Yeah.
Forget it exists.
And they turn up.
And luckily, a lot of my parents, because they have kids who are neurodivergent, get it.
Well, that's perfect.
And they're very
isn't it?
flexible,
Yeah.
but it's not something. But then that makes me feel like the world's worst person, because I'm a big critic, so
Of course.
I don't like making mistakes.
Yeah, but hey, we're all humans, aren't we? I mean,
This is very true.
yeah.
And I have to remind myself of that sometimes, that regardless of what your neurotype is, whether you've got a diagnosis of anything, at the end of the day, you're just a human trying to get through
Just do
this,
life.
just trying to do life
Yeah.
in the best possible way. And if you spend too much time worrying about what other people think of you, you're not going to enjoy it.
No,
And
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
You've got to enjoy the ride while you're on it, don't you?
for the most part, yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? So, explain to me the major changes in the last, 6-7 months since you've been unmedicated, married, and pregnant.
That
That's a big
sounds like an awful
sentence.
TV show. Unmedicated, married, and pregnant.
Isn't it? I'd watch
Would you
that.
watch it?
Yeah, I would.
That sounds, we
it
could get a few seasons out of that.
Sounds
I
like a
reckon.
car crash waiting to happen, doesn't it?
What would that, unmarried? So it wouldn't be maths, would it? Unmarried.
Did I say unmarried
No,
or
wait.
married?
See, brain doesn't work anymore.
What did we say?
Married,
Maddie, we said
unmedicated, M.U.P. We're going to watch M.U.P.
M.U.P. You might be onto something, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Call me.
We'll pitch that to the
I
executives.
need something while I'm on maternity leave. Biggest change, did you say? Was that the question?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you've had a lot of changes in your life. We've highlighted those ones,
Mm-hmm.
but just like when you sit down by yourself with your own thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
what are you thinking? What are you thinking about? Are we thinking forward? Are we thinking back? Are we going sideways with your thoughts, or is it just sometimes just too much to handle, and you don't get those little moments to yourself?
Oh, I think it's all of the above. If there's an option to tick that box.
Okay, so we're ticking every box.
I'm ticking all the boxes. I've talked about this with Tim, and I think in regards to this pregnancy, because the marriage thing doesn't really change. It's as in like it's just this piece of paper, regardless of whether we're married or unmarried. The wedding was the stressful bit. The actual being married just feels, we've been together for over a decade, so that doesn't really change that much.
No, you're right. Well, you want to hope not.
Yeah, although legally now, he can. That's like financially.
Yeah, he can take half your shit.
He could take Seb though, couldn't he?
We're not
I'll
gonna-
keep the dog.
Yes. Poor Seb.
Sorry, Seb. I love you, and you're listening to this in the future.
Yeah.
He did have me up for 3 hours in the night though, so
Yeah.
you know.
Swings around about.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing in regards to this pregnancy is the last pregnancy I was undiagnosed, and this time and it was just so I didn't know what was going on, and as someone, whether it's ADHD, whether it's just who I am as a person, having a child it wasn't that moment of, oh my, as soon as I brought Seb home, it wasn't this is the best feeling ever. I remember, sorry, these are slipping.
You can take them off if you want.
It's all right. We'll there you go. I remember sitting at the dining table going, what's happened to my life? And this is awful. This sounds really bad, but there wasn't
This is not uncommon though.
And I don't think it is.
No.
And what we tend to hear about with with, you know, having kids is I had the most incredible birth. This child, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I agree, the birth thing, not so much, but, you know, he's the best thing that has ever happened to me. But within those first few days, I'd gone from being able to be independent, to be very selfish, to then all of a sudden come home and be responsible for keeping this thing alive, for keeping this child alive. And that terrified me because I just felt like I had no idea what I was doing. And so for this pregnancy, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to going, hey, actually, it doesn't matter if I don't do that thing quite the way it should be. It doesn't matter if what that textbook says my child's not doing. It doesn't matter if they walk a month later than what the guidelines say. And I think having been through that and having that life experience and maybe knowing more about me and my brain and how I internalize thoughts and emotions and now deal with them I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to having this baby and just enjoying it more rather than last time. Last time felt like survival. This time I'm hoping it's going to be more about thriving.
Yeah.
Ask me that again in 6 months' time.
So looking back, you're undiagnosed.
Yeah.
So looking back at that now, do you think if you were diagnosed, it would have made any difference to the way you felt or handled the situation?
Oh, absolutely. Because
Yeah, in what way? Like immediately, what do you think? If I knew what I know now back then, what would be the first thing that you would go, oh, fuck, that would be different?
I just remember being like, why can't I be normal? Why can't I feel like every other mum? Why is this hard for me? Whereas now it's like, well, there isn't a normal. The organizing of what to do in your day. And so, for example, I would find you would have some parents who you would see on social media. And I know social media is not...
It's not healthy,
It's not reality. But when you're a first-time mum, and I'm also a first-time mum without any family here or any of my oldest friends here, you just compare, and that's what you think motherhood looks like. You think it looks like somebody getting up at 6 a.m. to make sourdough, and then they're cooking throughout the day, and their kids enjoying kale crisps, and their kid sleeps for 6 hours a night and listens to baby Mozart. Whereas my kids, sucking on the dog's bone and watching Miss Rachel. And actually I think really maybe my experience is more of the norm, but I think because of how my brain was processing things and because of my ADHD, I would find doing anything productive or what I felt like was productive hard. So actually keeping Seb alive, making sure he was fed and loved and clean was all that I needed to do for those first few months of his life. And I would beat myself up about the fact that I would just not have this motivation. I wouldn't have this drive to go and do all this stuff that apparently other parents were doing. And I shouldn't just say mothers in this because, some kids grow up with two dads, so we'll include the dads in this as well. 2 dads, 2 mums,
exactly.
And I think now I'm just going to go, well, actually that was part of the fact that you didn't have that dopamine, you didn't have that internal motivation to do these things wasn't there. You're also beating yourself up about the fact that you're comparing your life to something that isn't realistic.
No.
And I think I'm just, I think it's part of ADHD, part of just being a first-time mum, part of how I am. I kind of want to go back in time and just give that person a hug and be like, stop.
Yeah.
You're doing a really good job. Like if I could use a time machine, that would be one of the things I would go back to and be like, just stop and just enjoy him and stop worrying so much about not being this perfect parent.
But that was your normal. That's the thing is that you looking back on it, you can't compare what you did to anybody else because that was just your normal. That was what
Yeah.
you knew. It is unfortunate that you didn't have family and friends close, and that's, I mean, for any family unit, that's just a godsend. You know, whether they're friends or nannies or whatever, just to have that extra support.
Yeah.
You know, so that struggle's real. I understand that. I get that. But I think as any new mum would experience, as you say, I used to freak out when I had my son in the car because all I was thinking about was his safety. And you know those people that unfortunately leave kids in cars? I would have terrifying nightmares about leaving my son in the car. And even when he wasn't in the car, but the car seat's in the back, I used to constantly check myself and have that fear of that ever happening. So that's all natural, that's all very real. But as you say, it's just interesting to see the reflection as you've just explained. ADHD as being part of that narrative that we've just gone through, I don't think is plays a major part. And now I'm not diminishing the fact that it is there and it exists. But as you say, that for what you went through, it sounds like a very normal experience and very very human reaction to the situation that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as you say, the benefit of that in hindsight is that your second child, your second birth is going to be hopefully more enjoyable. It's the same with a lot of things, that sometimes people get stressed out and worked up about something and they don't enjoy it in the moment because they're overthinking or they're getting caught up in the moment. And to have that reflection and look back and then do like the job better the next time and enjoy it more, I think that's just a normal human response and reaction. Would you agree with that? As I said, I'm not taking anything away with the ADHD.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of what I went through that is more normal than people think it is, because people don't tend to talk more about the things that were harder, and so people think it's not normal. People think the rainbows and the sunshines are the normal. And I'm really happy for those people that have rainbows and sunshines, if that is what happens.
Look, I honestly don't think that's the case. You look at social media. Social media is like the best version of anybody and everything.
Yeah.
It's a glossy tabloid cover.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times it's bullshit. They say that the people that post the most and try to portray this perfect life have the most shitty existence when they're not on camera or they're not posting. It's just they're doing life the same as anybody else. Maybe it's a little bit of narcissism, but it's not normal. And that's the trouble with society. Social media just fucks everybody's skew on life. It's just the perspective is just too slanted.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's not healthy, and it's not. And for me to hear you say that influenced how you thought and felt about you as a mum, it's a little bit sad, because that's what it's doing to people, and it's not healthy.
Yeah,
it's not healthy at all.
And people you're trying to find, and we shouldn't, but you compare yourself to, even before social media existed, you might compare yourself to Carol down the street and how Carol looked.
Yep.
But now that that might have just been Carol, whereas now you've got hundreds of thousands of people doing it, and you can see apparently how they're doing it, and it's not a reality, but it's it definitely doesn't help. And
no, it's not healthy at all.
No, and so my advice would be, regardless of your neurotype as a new mum, to be very mindful of accounts that you follow, and actually sometimes just deleting it, or you can mute people as well, I think, on things like, you don't have to delete them.
Yeah.
You can just mute them. So once you're feeling in a better space, you can bring them back if you so wish. But for somebody that, has high anxiety, had undiagnosed ADHD, that blamed a lot of things on I blamed myself for a lot of things, whereas now I know that actually I had my brain was just different. My brain was processing things differently. My brain was working through things differently to other people, and so it's very unfair of me to compare myself to people who were neurotypical as well, because that's not. Now
you said in that last sentence, you used the word anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
that's never been raised before in the discussion with ADHD, because in my experience, two different things, two completely different things. Anxiety in itself is a it's a horrible construct, because it's all encompassing. All it just I'm trying to get the right words to describe it. I've done it before, but I can't do it right now. For anybody that hasn't experienced anxiety, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Just straight out, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to control it, or you don't understand how it's affecting you,
Yeah.
and you don't have the tools in place to help manage it, it can be very destructive. But anxiety and ADHD, from what I'm listening and what I understand, are two different kettles of fish. So does your ADHD cause you to have anxiety, or is the anxiety part of being ADHD? How do the two work in you personally?
In me
within
personally.
you, because everybody's different. I'm bipolar.
Yeah.
I had my first panic attack a couple of years ago. Fucking scared the life out of me. Ended up in hospital. Thought I was dying. And then through that, understood exactly what anxiety was. And I was 50 years old or something. So I'd never experienced it in my life. Never had an issue with it. And then all of a sudden it wells up in me, and I think I'm having a heart attack. And it was scary as fuck.
Yeah.
But now I understand what it is, and how it generates itself within me. I can manage it. But for somebody that maybe doesn't have a consciousness, it can be very, very scary, very scary. And if you can't, as I said, if you can't control it, it can be it can just be horrible to deal with on a daily basis.
It's debilitating.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the right words
I got
to
you.
use. Yeah, perfect. So how does that work within you personally?
It's a good question. I think it's hard to sometimes pick the two apart. So is anxiety, and I think this is actually quite common in females, because females have tended to be diagnosed later into adulthood with ADHD and things like autism.
Yes.
Is that a lot in your teenage years, it's put down to, you're anxious, or you have anxiety, or you have depression. And I actually think not having a diagnosis and not realizing that these things that you're experiencing is not because you are incorrect, you're less, you're wrong. It's because you're seeing the world in a different way to other people, and the world is not created for neurodivergent neurotypes. So you could say that the anxiety comes because you don't know who you are, and you feel almost like a bit of an alien trying to work, have a life in a planet that you don't understand and doesn't understand you. But they can also be two separate things. So for me, I get a lot of social anxiety if I'm in groups of people that I don't know.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I can sometimes I just won't want to go, which then you beat yourself up about, because actually you do want to go. Or you come away and think, what did I say? And part of that, I think, sometimes is my ADHD, in that I can get a bit too hyperactive with speaking too much, oversharing, interrupting people.
Yep.
So it's sometimes hard to pull the two apart for me. Am I having really bad social anxiety because of the way I communicate, or is it two separate things? I will get anxiety sometimes around just, I have to control things. Like at night, I have little rituals about making sure, like, this is locked and that's locked and this is turned off and that's turned off. And if we go away for a night, I basically won't sleep because I'm in somewhere new, and every little noise we're about to be broken into and murdered. And that's not ADHD, I don't think. I think that comes more with my anxiety. But my anxiety peaks and troughs, and I think I've in the past as well had anxiety and depression at the same time, which people find confusing, because how can you be depressed and anxious at the same time? And that was one I found extremely hard to work through, in that it's kind of two contrasting things going on in your brain. So I think, to answer your question, my experience is I kind of just, I don't try and separate them. I just see them all as they're all just part of me.
Just individual components.
They're just
that you
individual
deal with.
components and part of me. It's a bit like that Inside Out kids movie. It's called Inside Out, right? Where they have the different... Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's great. If you've got kids... Or actually, regardless of whether you've got kids, you should watch it. It's basically in this little girl's brain, and in everybody's brains, they say that there's all these different emotions. So there's like sadness, anger, joy, and how they interact with each other and influence your day and how you're feeling. And I just feel as though sometimes my anxiety comes into play a bit more than my ADHD. Sometimes there might be...
So they're like individual characters.
That's how in the movie.
Yeah,
And
I fully understand that, yeah.
I think for me, I'm a very visual person. So that's kind of how I just think about my brain, and that actually I'm still me though. I'm still, even though sometimes these things might be a bit more in control that day, I have to, if I sit down and I try and do some mindfulness and some breathing and whatever I need to do, what is in my toolkit to get through that, remind myself that the actual person that is in control is me. Doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me to know that this is this is happening because of this. Try and work through it. And I'm very fortunate that I feel like I've got a really good insight into who I am. And that's always been important for me to know who I am and how my brain works.
I think it's important for everybody these days.
And I think, but that's the thing, some people just don't take that time to explore. And I actually think, everybody at some point should go and see a psychologist. Everybody would benefit from talking about certain things and going, oh yeah, that's why that's happened.
It's about consciousness, isn't it? It's about consciousness.
And and that's why it upsets me sometimes that services like psychology are so expensive and so inaccessible to people, because actually some people could just have a handful of sessions and that could be a huge change for that person. But when things are so expensive, people just can't afford it. So,
do you know what we should do? We should have them come here.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll do a side hustle.
We could do it's like M.U.P. The M.U.P something, like married. What's it again?
I'm just trying to think of how I can make money out of this podcast. So instead of going to a psychiatrist, they can just come here and just purge.
Yeah, I know you need to just smile and nod.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about that?
Yeah. How does that make you feel? Mm-hmm. How do you think that impacted the people around you?
Yeah, just ask questions. There you go. Degree, tick.
Hey, you talked about a toolkit.
Yes.
We're going to take a break and then we're going to come back and unpack that.
Beautiful.
This podcast is brought to you by Holy Shirt Australia. Holy Shirt Australia are 100% online. They're Australia's largest no minimum custom print and embroidery company. All their services are completed in-house and they can deliver all orders promptly and professionally. They like to keep it simple and straightforward, so they offer cool stuff that can be custom printed or embroidered to your liking. They have an easy-to-use online designer to build your custom apparel from the comfort of your home or office. They offer pricing that reflects your individual order, and remember, they are no minimum on all their products. They deliver what the customer expects when they expect it. They've got over 1,500 products ready for you to custom print or embroider today, right now. So head to holyshirt.com.au for all your custom clothing requirements. Yep, no. Mm-hmm. Welcome back. Cheers.
Cheers.
To Buckfast, Rob and Joe, Chapel Street Cellars. You can smell it, I can consume it.
I'm making a memory for this time in 4 months. I'll probably be able to have some.
Thank you, Buckfast.
We
love you, Buckfast. Hey, we've got a new segment this year. Mixing it up.
Okay.
It's called Dead or Alive.
I don't have to do any, I don't have to, it's not a practical thing, is it?
All you've got to do is sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
Okay. Yeah, great.
we got here? A Mexican merry-go-round.
What the hell am I watching?
Oh!
Jesus, Mary and the donkeys.
You know the catchphrase of this section the catchphrase of this section is I did not see that coming.
I saw something coming, but I didn't think it was going to be his spine coming out of his blooming. Oh my! Oh, is this?
He didn't die, by the way.
Oh, none
FYI.
of these people died.
Well,
right?
we don't know. Sometimes we don't know.
Okay.
But what do we got
Alright.
next, Maddie?
I can clear it. All right, ready? No, wait.
Getting G'd up.
You can fucking clear it. You got it.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Oh!
Oh!
Go get him.
Oh, I heard it.
The funny thing was that we heard the thump before the video because there was a bit of a lag there, Maddie.
Oh, I heard the crack.
Can you rewind it just where he gets onto the...
See, but this is my ADHD. Is I just keep looking at that man's head.
Oh, is that really?
I need to get past that little detail, and then so it's the man's head followed by the breaking of the ankles.
Oh, yeah, that's 2 ankles for sure.
That it's there.
We actually did put that guy's head in there just to fuck with you.
Don't he? That's it now. He's going to be, when you talked about the brain at night,
Yeah.
that's going to be what I'm thinking of at 1 a.m. What does the rest of his face look like?
Wow. That was not our intention. I'm sorry about that. He did survive, obviously.
Oh, his
What
feet,
else have we
though.
got, Maddie? This is fun. I love this. Are you right? Are you anxious?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not about to give birth.
You
Don't
got
worry.
a horrible look on your face.
I think that might just be resting bitch face.
Yes!
Oh, belly flop. Oh no. Oh no, yeah. Oh. Why did he not open that earlier?
He was enjoying the view, I think. I mean, luckily he's landed on water, but yeah, that would have hurt.
Oh, landing on water, you can break bones, can't you? If you
Yeah.
land.
Yeah, he did die.
He did die.
No, I don't know.
Oh, don't! What are you doing?
What do you reckon, Maddie? Live or die? He lived. Thumbs up. Got a thumbs up from Maddie.
I mean, that's not.
Are
an
you enjoying
advertisement.
this so far? Is this fun for you?
I don't know if enjoyment is the
Right word?
is that a verb? I should adjective.
Oh, look,
I should know. I
I'm
teach this.
uneducated, so don't ask me. Oh, we got mountain biking. You got mountain biking, don't you?
Christ.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at riding a bike. I just veer left all the time. So I'm surprised I'm not going to be on something like this.
Well, let's see how this guy
Has
goes.
he got a helmet on at least?
Yeah, he's jump. Oh, ow,
Fucking hell.
ow.
Jesus Christ. Oh, the bike's going to land on him. That's not... No, there's no surviving that, is there?
Oh.
There's no...
Did you get the look on her face, Maddie? He got the camera. He died. He's dead.
He actually
Yeah,
died.
he's dead. Yeah.
Why did they have these videos then if they die?
No, we don't know.
Oh, we don't know.
We don't know.
I
We
was
got
like-
one more, Maddie. This is
I'd be
fun.
so pissed if my relatives were... If I was dead and they were profiting off me dying like a dickhead.
Getting views off Instagram.
Yeah.
Let's hope that never happens. Is that it? That was 4.
Bloody- Now I need the book fast now.
As I said, that was not our intention to make you feel awful or anxious. It was supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Is it sick that I enjoy that sort of stuff?
It's your opinion and it's what you like, and I'm not here to...
I just think it's funny. Look, to be quite honest, I don't like people saying... I get, like, my stuff tightens when I see stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I feel a bit on the edge
Yeah.
right now.
Like-
See, I'm more like the videos of cats and dogs doing weird things. That's probably my... Not obviously, like, breaking their necks and stuff, but just... kids swearing. That's my type of
I get it.
videos.
I get it.
But thank you for that.
That's a lot of research. Do you understand how much research I have to do for this segment each week?
But you just said you enjoy it. So is that research or is it?
Well, I don't enjoy it when I'm sitting on the toilet and my legs go to sleep.
Yeah, you might get piles as well if you sit on the toilet for too long.
I'm fine with that. It's
You're all right
just
with the
my legs
hemorrhoids?
go to sleep. You know, when your legs go to sleep and you stand up and you feel like it's just anyway, enough about my legs in the toilet. You talked about a toolkit.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the ones that you buy from Bunnings, are we?
No.
What is in your toolkit and why?
In regards to how I keep regulated and support my mental health.
What do you call it? Do you call it, is it your toolkit for life? Have you actually named it?
I just call it my toolkit. It's what I kind of talk about this with my therapy clients as well, is that it's things in there that for me personally, I have found useful. They might not be useful for everybody. It's a trial and error thing. What works for one person might not work for another person.
Well,
but
it's definitely an individual thing. It's like a plumber's got a different toolkit to a carpenter, doesn't he?
oh, a carpenter.
Or a
That
dentist.
was me.
Yeah,
See, brain, ping. You said a word and now.
perfect.
Yeah, so my toolkit, I suppose, when I am up here, so I'm very heightened, I'm very dysregulated, doing things like I often try and do grounding. So this is a helpful thing for me when I'm trying to get to sleep, but I've got a million things going through my head and I might get stuck on one thought that starts to make me feel really anxious. And that one thought could be a memory from 10 years ago.
Oh, we talked about this in the break, didn't we? Those awkward
And
cringe.
it makes me feel like, but the anxiety sometimes can be like overwhelming with it. It's more than a cringe. It's you start to feel sick in your stomach and your heart starts to race. And so grounding for me is when I will think of 5 things I can see, or else I'll name them. If I don't say it out loud, I'll name them in my head. 5 things I can see, 4 things I can hear, I think, 3 things I can feel, 2 things I can smell, and 1 thing I can taste. And even if it's something that you can't taste or smell in that moment, think about your favorite thing. And then by the time you've got through all of those things, you should have your brain is thinking more about what's going on in terms of your body and your senses, and should be less about that thought. So that helps ground me a little bit. Breathing.
Just to stop you there, because when you think about it, your brain's fucking with you initially.
Oh, she's such a bitch sometimes.
Yours is a bitch.
Oh, she is, yeah. She's great, but she's also a bitch.
So as I was saying, she's fucking with you.
Yeah.
By bringing this emotion, this memory to the fore.
Yeah.
And then creating a response within your body, which we know is anxiety, which is a motherfucker in itself. And then what you're trying to do is you're trying to use your brain again to abate those feelings of the anxiety which the brain's created. I'm trying
to change the channel on my brain. And when you're out and about in the day, these thoughts don't pop into your head because your senses are so alert to everything else. Whereas when you're just lying there in bed, your number one thing is, I want to go to sleep. It's dark. It's relatively quiet. There's no one to talk to. I think this is also why some people go on their phones. They spend a lot of time on their phones because the moment that visual distraction is gone, thoughts kind of start to creep into their heads.
Well, it's another distraction, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Your senses are, so when that thought comes in, it's a way of you're rewiring what you're thinking about, and you're taking back that control that your brain has taken away from you.
The bitch.
She's my bitch, but she is a bitch. So that's one of the things I use. In terms of breathing, there's something called square breathing. So, I said I was a visual person.
Yep.
So square breathing, you think about a square, so you might breathe in for 3 seconds. When you get to the corner, you breathe out. Breathe in. You breathe out again. And you repeat it like however many times you need. But that visualization, if someone just goes, take some breaths, you're like, well, what do these breaths look like? How long do I take a breath for? So
that's a cool trick. I've never heard or seen it before.
It's quite a good one. And
because you can't do a circle, can you? Because you'd run out of breath.
No. You could try it. We could have a competition.
No.
Who has the best circle breathing? My 3-year-old hasn't done that yet.
So we're breathing in, or we're breathing in.
So you would.
That's it. A quarter of the way around.
And then you. Yeah,
it does work. Every quarter's like a clock. I like the square version better.
The square is a bit, is it's easy. You get to like, in 3 seconds is kind of a, and you can draw it, and you can do it if you're out and about and you're a bit panicked. You can do it, like on your palm. You don't have to draw attention to yourself by starting drawing shapes in
At
there.
a bus stop, yeah. What's that crazy lady doing?
Yeah, and maybe don't choose like a, what's the one with 10 sides called? A deck.
Dex.
Deck.
No.
Deck.
A
I'm going to make a word up. A dectothagon.
A deck. Maddie, he's.
There's a nonagon. There's a nonagon is 9. An octagon is 8.
Yeah.
10 would be a deck.
A deck.
A decagon.
A decagon. You were close.
As a dectothagon. That's sounds like something from Stranger Things. And then I think there's one that some people use called tapping. I've not really done that, but that's one that people do. I think it's, I don't know if you want to get tapping up, but that's one people do. Like you tap on things and you do breathing. Never really worked for me, that one.
Didn't you say last time you were in here that
that's more of a
pull you
fidget
up?
thing.
Oh, okay. It's obviously not. Yeah. It's, we're talking about the tools in your toolkit.
And then so that making a conscious effort to message somebody something nice.
Well, that's a good one.
So I used to do this a lot, maybe 10 years ago. I would find a really nice quote or meme whenever I was having a day where I just felt crap.
Yeah.
And I would just send that picture. And so it might say something like, has anyone told you your butt looks good today, but less creepy?
I get it.
There was something nice.
Yeah.
And I would just send it to somebody. And I think what that did then was it gave me a bit of dopamine because I was doing something nice for other people. I was distracting how I was feeling and channeling that into something else.
Well, hey, question for you.
Yeah.
You said a day that I'm not feeling up to it. Right now, out of 10 days, what do we talk? What's the ratio of good to bad?
Well, I think at the moment, I feel like it's a bit skewed at the moment because I'm having pregnancy hormones going on.
Yeah.
So
Are there big fluctuations? Is that what you're noticing?
yeah.
Yeah.
So there are some days where I'll feel quite flat. But I think what I'm able to do is rationalize that in my head and go, you've had this before. Give it a couple of days. Don't be hard on yourself.
Yep.
You don't have to go to that social thing if you don't want to go and do it. And you will start to feel better. And if you're not starting to feel better in a few days, go see your GP.
That's that self-awareness we're talking about.
And
isn't
it's huge. If I didn't have that,
Yep.
then I think life would be a lot harder for me.
See, that's the thing. That's not afforded to you. It's something that you've got to earn.
I've
Do you agree?
worked really hard.
Yeah. Well, I talked about it in the break as well too.
Yeah.
It's taken me many decades to get to that point where you can, as you say, be self-aware and just assess the situation. Go, hey, dude, you've done this before. What are you worried about?
Yeah.
Sure, you feel like shit, or put something in place. Go into your toolkit, do whatever you need to do, and you'll be good. You'll be good. Just trust the process.
Yeah. And knowing when it's gone past that point of no
Of
return.
course, yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
then going seeking that professional help
Yeah.
because there are, for some people, you have to go. You can't just figure it out yourself, can you? You've got to go and talk to somebody. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. There are people there that can help you when you get to that point of, fuck, the toolkit's not working. This isn't working. This has been going on longer than it did last time.
Yep.
Maybe I need something more. So,
As you said before, sometimes those services aren't available to people, which when you think about it, knowing what we know, is pretty scary, isn't it? That people are struggling and they're not getting the help that they need.
yeah. And I think that's a big deterrent for a lot of people is the cost of services, the speed at which people can be seen. But there are definitely, and maybe we could put some links up, there are some really good charities out there that people can get support from. But I think even just as part of your toolkit, potentially having a person whether it's a friend, a family member that you can reach out to first, I think is really key, and having that key support.
As we said again, sometimes it's not available or
Well, no,
afforded
it's
to them,
not.
which is
It's not.
which
And
is the
that's-
scary thing, because
yeah.
there's people falling through the cracks.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what we've just talked about is that we've got to the point in our existence where we understand what we need and when we need it.
Yeah.
And luckily for us, it's afforded to us. Some people aren't at that point yet, whereas they don't understand what they need to have to go to the next stage or the process in their life to rectify the problems that they have.
Yeah.
And don't have that self-awareness. So we're lucky. We're lucky that we have that, all this stuff afforded to us, and we've been able to identify the problem, and try to put a fix to it.
Yeah.
Although there's no fix-all, and there's no fix-all for everybody. Everybody's got a different situation. But it just scares me to know that there's people out there that are not getting the help that they need.
Yeah.
They're going through life like it's normal to have these thoughts or feelings or dealing with daily situations, which shouldn't be normal for a lot of people. Not this day and age. And especially not in Australia.
No, I think
Especially not in Australia.
hopefully, I'm a big advocate of early intervention for everything, and so I feel like a lot of this should be in schools. If it's not in in primary schools, it should definitely be in high schools. That learning about mental health should be a part of the curriculum.
I think that's pivotal for anybody going through puberty at that point in their life. Those years are critical for forming humans.
Yeah.
Nice, good, functioning, normal, I shouldn't use the word normal, just humans,
Yep.
having to deal with, because as I said, it's a fucking minefield.
I would not go back to being
No,
a teenager.
I said in the break that I wouldn't change anything. I think my upbringing at school, I left school early, so I probably avoided a lot of trauma by not being in a situation that was going to cause me more harm than good. But as I said, everybody's different. Everybody reacts differently to certain situations. We all learn differently. We all think differently. So, but yeah, I'm not going to go back and change anything, even if I could. Would you?
No, I wouldn't change things. I think, like I said before, if I could talk to my past self and just give a bit of reassurance and guidance, that's probably as close as I would get to change it. But we learn from mistakes. Without making mistakes, we don't become the people that we are, and we I think that's something that being a parent now, and it's okay that your kids make mistakes. You've got to let them make mistakes, and just know that you're going to be there to pick up the pieces and comfort them and talk them through what's happened. It's really difficult being the person I am to know that, to not be that helicopter parent and stop all this stuff from happening. But I think that's just a part of life, is that to be independent and in charge of your own emotions and be aware of the impact your choices have, you've got to go through that independently.
Yeah, well, as we said, it's learned, isn't it? You don't know until you know. And as I said, if I went back to my life at any point in time and took a 6-week block course, I still probably wouldn't learn the lessons that I learned through the course of my life, and as you say, my actions and my reactions to situations. So I don't think I would do myself any justice by going back. Maybe I'd fuck myself up completely.
Do you have any weird hairstyles?
Yeah.
Would
for
you
sure.
change those?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we could go do some tweaks. We could do some physical tweaks.
But then I'd be different to everybody else. So I don't think, like, I was doing exactly what everybody else was doing, like every other kid. Like, what the kids have mullets, or they do whatever they do.
Oh, Seb, they're not having mullets. That's I'm not having that. I'm sorry if I'm offending all the Australians out here, but we're not having mullets.
I don't have a problem with offending Australians, because I think the mullet's fucking terrible.
Just don't get it.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. There's no point. But as I said, I look back at some of the photos and you think, you cringe at it, but you go, if I was doing things differently, I would be standing out from the crowd, and
That's
I
true.
would maybe be a pariah, or that would maybe cause more angst. Yeah, you think about like the goth kids and stuff, and all these little cliques. Yeah, they're trying to find their tribe, they're trying to find their people, but be individual at the same time.
Yeah.
But they're different to other groups, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad
Or
thing.
being different is great. We need people to be different, otherwise we'd all be AI
Yeah,
robots.
Exactly. That's what we're gonna all end up being anyway.
I know. I've heard you have to start being nice to like ChatGPT now. You have to start saying
Please and
please
thank
and
you.
thank you, otherwise they'll remember and they'll go, oh well,
You're an arsehole.
Jess told me that I was crap at my job that one time.
I can't imagine sitting down and just abusing ChatGPT.
There's definitely people that do that. I think I've done that once before. I think I was paying $100 a month for this clinical note thing, and it just was ignoring everything that I was putting into it. And I was like, you are not listening to me.
Yes, get your shit together.
Yeah.
I'm actually, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm old school. I like to formulate my own thoughts, and like even some of the basic stuff is fine, replying to an email, bits and pieces. But if I ask it to like, say for instance, a podcast note, if I said to Chat GPT prior to you coming in, hey, I've got this lovely lady coming in, suffers from ADHD, write me some questions or something for a podcast, and it would not feel human at all. Like it's my job to maybe interpret that, but I'm going to do that myself anyway.
Yeah.
Without the help of Chat GPT. So in that case, I don't, even like creative writing and stuff like that. As we know, all it's doing is curating information that already exists on the internet and
Yeah.
reform. Do you agree with me, Matt? Yeah. Although Matt's the IT guy and he understands about how these tools can be beneficial. I just like for certain things. I'm old school. Like I'm visual, I'm creative. It doesn't spin my wheels. So
Yeah, I think it's working out what works for you, what helps you, what you like, what you don't like.
it's not in my toolkit. Oh, I can tell you that.
There
It's
you
not
go.
in my toolkit.
It's not in your toolkit, and that's okay.
So getting back to your toolkit,
Yeah.
we got breathing exercise, which is great.
Yeah.
We had the 5. Was it the 5 count?
The grounding.
The grounding.
Yeah.
What else have we got in there?
We had the distraction, so the messaging people. I also, this is probably a weird one, but I have a couple of friends who have said this, is that I will watch a horror movie, which sounds ridiculous because if you're anxious, why do you want to put a horror movie on?
It's an oxymoron, isn't it?
Yeah, but I find that it's so far removed from what I'm currently thinking and experiencing in life that it distracts me.
So it's just a distraction.
It's a distraction. It's because what I'm trying to get myself to do is regulate to a point of feeling in control again, so that the thoughts that I'm having are, I can go, it's not a rational thought that anymore. Or you can, in order to try and, okay, that problem that you're thinking of, if you want to try and, break it down and fix it, maybe that's where that problem came from. Whereas when I'm up here, it's like fight or flight. And sometimes when you're up here, you then say you say things that you don't mean, or you do things that you're going to regret, and you're just pouring petrol onto things. So
Yep.
when I'm in that state, I have to use things to try and bring me back down, or at least to a level of, because for me personally, I like to feel in control. It's not like an obsessive thing, but I find that if I feel out of control, and I need to find something within that I can control to bring me back down.
So from the outside looking in, you're talking about being up here.
Yeah.
Does that look like you're manic? What does that look like?
No, so for me it might feel, so from like a physical perspective, it's a bit like my stomach, I might feel nauseous.
No, sorry.
Oh.
You misunderstand. So I'm Tim. I'm
Yeah.
looking at you,
Oh, yeah.
and you're up here.
I'm not putting things in its permanent place when I'm up there, I tell you that for sure.
Just permanent place. It's on his headstone. Is he seeing you in a manic state, or a state that would be classified as abnormal?
Yeah, for me. So I would be probably very snappy, avoiding eye contact. I'd probably be pacing a little bit. So maybe like moving around the kitchen, picking something up, putting it back, putting it back.
Aggressive?
I'd
Like, as you say,
aggressive
no.
So it's almost like I've got so much energy, so much built up, something going on in me that I'm moving around. I can't just sit there. However, if I have been depressed in the past, then it would look very different to that. That would be more of an anxious appearance of shouting, snappy, moving around a lot, avoiding eye contact, taking myself to another room. Whereas depressive would be, I'd be very solemn, quiet. My volume would go down. So like if he asked me a question, I would probably be very quiet.
Yeah.
Single words. My body language, I would try and shrink myself to, your body language just changes. You feel very small. So I think those are my two extremes when I'm in those situations. I actually find it easier for me to recognize when I'm up here and start to use those tools to come down than when I'm down. I find it a lot harder to come up.
So I use the word manic. Probably erratic would be probably a better description. Yeah.
It's erratic. It's quick. It's quick. There's not much thought process to what's going on.
Yeah.
It's unexpected things. Like Tim would be like, what are you doing? Potentially would be upset. So there might be tears. Whereas I think when I've been depressed, it's just very flat. It's very flat effect.
So how long does it take to come down from being up there?
Oh, now quite quick.
Okay.
Now it's quite quick.
So it's an instant recognition of...
I'm recognizing that I'm now up here.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get better at is recognizing that that's building before it gets to being up here.
Yeah. So you want to release the shut-off valve.
I want to go...
Prior to
I am about to pop my cork.
Yeah.
I'm going to take myself away into a quiet space and do some of these things in the toolkit before I take my anxiety and my emotional dysregulation out on somebody that doesn't
deserve it.
Yeah, and it's a bit like collateral damage because then I'm adding another layer to I'm now feeling intense guilt and intense shame over my reaction.
What's the frequency? What sort of frequency are we talking about?
Oh, it's not. It doesn't happen as much anymore.
It's not daily.
Oh no! It's not daily. I find that being pregnant, my patience is less, so I can
You're
get
blaming the pregnancy.
I'm blaming
for
pregnancy for everything.
Sure.
No, but I think my tolerance is probably a bit less. Maybe because I'm not sleeping as well.
How much sleep are you getting?
Falling asleep isn't too bad. It's the staying asleep that's hard. Mostly because I have to get up to have wheeze. And
it's a very English way to say it, isn't it?
That's
wheeze.
I don't know if that's I think it's a British thing rather than an oversharing thing. Like you just announce that I'm just going to go and have a wee.
Yeah.
And I've learnt very quickly over here that people think that that's a bit too much information.
I've always said that.
If you ever said I'm going having a poo, that would be worse.
No, true. Yeah.
But,
I'm going to take the kids to the beach.
I'm just,
my sister texted me, hey, do you want to get on a call? And I said, look, I'm just taking the kids to the beach. And I was sitting on the toilet when I was replying to it.
Yeah.
And we got on the call and she goes, oh, which beach you at? And I go, no, love, no.
The metaphorical beach.
Yeah. I like the other one, the Pinch a Loaf. That's off the Green Mile. Do you remember that?
Oh, is that the sad film?
With the...
Oh, no.
No.
I can't read. Don't make me revisit that.
Oh, really?
Film. Oh, don't turn out the lights, boss. Oh, my God.
There's tissues down there if you need them.
That and Marley and Me are two films I will never watch ever
Really?
again. Heartbreaking.
What about Shawshank Redemption? You like that one?
Yes, I like Shawshank because there's a happy ending.
Of course.
Whereas Marley and Me, spoiler alert, but the dog
No.
at the end, that's not a
Really?
happy ending, is it?
No.
So.
Don't like seeing animals getting hurt.
Well, he's had a long life.
Oh, that's all right then.
It's not an accident. He's just old, but the owners have to then go and do the thing, and no, sad.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Buckfast. What is Buckfast, you ask? Well, let me tell you. It's better known as Bucky, and it's an internationally enjoyed, unique tasting tonic wine. It's equally rich in heritage as it is in taste. It packs a punch from 15% alcohol and about the same amount of caffeine as a well-known drink that gives you wings. Buckfast's enjoyment is only rivaled by its versatility from the cooking pot to the wine or cocktail glass. Drink it straight, mix it in a Negroni, or use it as a marinade. Available Australia-wide and distributed by Beeblebrox Beverages. Visit beeblebrox.com.au to find your closest stockist and buckfast.com for cocktail and recipe ideas. So we've touched on some good topics today, which is great. We're doing a good job.
Okay.
We're doing a good job.
Good, thank you.
We talked about toolkits and stuff.
Yep.
Talking in the break about how people can seek help, how they can find help. We're a big advocate here of go see your fucking doctor on a regular basis.
Yes.
But if there's stuff happening in your life and something doesn't feel quite right mentally in your headspace, obviously go see your GP. If you're not, and we've said this in previous podcasts, if you're not getting the results that you think, or you're not getting the response that you think you want, seek more advice, seek another person's advice, go to another GP.
Oh, second and third opinions are there for a reason.
Exactly. A lot of people do self-research online. There's some really great websites that you can do tests, and a lot of diagnoses do start with a basic test. I said I'm bipolar. I'm undiagnosed. But you asked me, you queried that, and I told you that the reason why I'm bipolar is because the medication that I'm on, which you were surprised about. And I said sometimes the diagnosis is found by the medication, not the other way around. And then sometimes that's just how it works. And for me, I was very lucky because the medication that I was prescribed worked first time, which it doesn't always happen that way, unfortunately. And there's a lot of people that are stuck in this mental health space where they can't find an answer to the problem. Medically, I'm talking about medication.
Yeah.
Wean on and wean off, which can take 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, so you've got this cycle. If you can imagine not finding the right fit and then you're cycling on, cycling off, and then you've got to deal with all the other shit that goes with it, which can be freaking horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
But hey, I've got this, I said I'm undiagnosed. I'm actually really interested to find out whether this online test says that I'm bipolar or not, even though my medication and my doctor says I am. This is Psychology Today online. So we've got a little bit of a test. Maddie's going to run through it. So bipolar disorder test. So bipolar disorder, sometimes called manic depression, is characterized by bouts of manic, high-energy episodes coupled with damaging bouts of depression. High highs, low lows. The condition is highly treatable, though once it's determined the symptoms are present. That makes sense? It didn't make sense to me when I first read it.
The condition is highly treatable. I
It
think
didn't
they've
make
put an
sense.
extra comma in there that
Yeah,
shouldn't exist.
it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Anyway, bipolar, high highs, low lows.
Yeah.
Let's do the test. Let's see where I slot in here. So, Maddie, I occasionally feel so good or amped up that people tell me I don't see myself. Yeah, not so much. The mere means in the middle.
Okay, yeah, it's not just a noise.
I become so irritated by people, I start arguments. No, I don't do that. There are times when I feel incredibly self-confident. Of course, yes, I agree. Sometimes I get much less sleep than normal, but don't mind. I almost feel like I don't need it. Yep. As I said before, luckily for me, my medication makes me sleep, which is perfect. I take it at night. people sometimes tell me I'm speaking much more or much faster than usual. I don't know. What do you guys reckon? What's the answer to that? Am I yes? Is that a yes? Meh. That's
I feel
a meh.
like I haven't noticed any difference between last time and this time I was here.
Okay. Well, we'll go meh. Thoughts sometimes race through my head, and I can't seem to stop them. Mana, do, do, do. There are times when I'm much more outgoing than usual, yes, and that's dealing with social anxiety. It's rare for me to get so distracted I can't concentrate at work. No, that does not happen. Well, does it?
These things are so overlapping. I'm answering some of these questions like with my ADHD.
With ADHD. Yeah. Are you in line with me, or are you slightly off? How are you sitting with what I'm? Are you skewing towards what I'm doing, or is it completely different?
If I'm being completely honest, I can't remember any of the previous questions
all
because
right.
I've been distracted thinking about the current answer.
Right. Okay. Well, it's not about you. It's about me. Okay.
Yes, this no more about me. Everyone's in.
It's rare for me to get so distracted I can't concentrate at work. I'm going to go meh because you're probably right. I've made risky or hasty decisions that have got me into trouble. Yes, definitely. I've spent so much money so fast that it's caused problems for my family. I have done that, but it has not caused problems for my family. So yeah. I sometimes have major mood changes, pivoting from extreme happy to extreme sad or vice versa. I go from happiness to frustration and anger instead of sadness. That would be the difference. So we'll agree with that, Maddie. I can become intensely focused on a goal, even when that's not particularly important. Yes. I can feel physically restless sometimes, but at other times I can sense myself physically slowing down. Meh for that one. I'm pretty cautious. I don't take foolish risks. Yes, I agree. I can experience multiple episodes of feeling hyper or manic in a single week, or a single day. Meh. I can have sharp increases or decreases in appetite that can affect my weight. No. Generally content, calm, and hopeful. No. I sometimes feel a much greater desire for sex. Yes. I have depressive episodes for weeks on times. No. Although if I was undiagnosed and untreated, maybe that would be different, of course. I have a child, sibling, parent, grandparent, or blood-related aunt or uncle who was diagnosed with manic depression or bipolar disorder. I am unaware of that, so I would say no.
Drum roll?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. What does that mean, Maddie?
Possible signs.
Possible signs of concern. Well, as we said, some of those answers were post-diagnosis or post-medication, so
yes,
there would be a slight... I was trying to be as honest and true. There was, but as I said, some of those questions are slanted.
I wonder how many points. There's 20 questions. How many points do you get per question then?
Good question.
5?
Good question. So, see, that's the thing. If I took this test, it's saying, you're sort of sitting in an area where you could be or you couldn't be. But some of those answers could have been specifically related to where I am in life at that point in time.
Yeah.
So I think hey, this was a good exercise. I'm not suggesting that it's a fix-all for everybody, but there are starting points with anything.
It makes you think about more specific aspects, I think, that maybe you hadn't thought about before.
Oh, for sure. There is a plethora of tests on that site.
Say that 5 times.
A plethora. Thanks to my beer sponsor for getting that word out in one hit. There is a lot of information that's available to people. And as I said, once again, just seek advice. Talk to your family, talk to your friends. Guys, talk to your mates at the fucking pub. Don't be afraid to, open up if you've got some concern, because I think that the issue or issues are not going to resolve themselves if you ignore them. We all know that.
And I think people, self-medicate with certain things that
Of course.
think that helps, and actually what it does, it just masks it, and a lot of the time makes it much worse. So if you
I
find...
testament
all...
to that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And look, it's not a bad thing, but it's not going to fix the problem.
No.
It's like with anything. Ultimately, you've got to get to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
But sometimes some people can go through life, and the problem never causes enough issues for it to be labelled a problem. Even though some of the stuff is sort of underlying and just smouldering quietly. We talk about catalyst. A lot of people get to a point where there is a catalyst in their life, and hopefully when that happens, they realise that there's a problem that needs to be addressed, ultimately first up addressed. And then if you're going to say fix, if you're going to use fix as a word, start the process to fix it or to make it better than what it is. I mean, you're never going to be perfect. There's no such thing, as we said before, as perfection. We're all different. We're all individual, we're all humans. We're all just trying to fucking do life, as best we can, best we can. Hey, it's been an absolute pleasure again. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for inviting me back. I've had a very fun time.
Hey, we're here to please. We're here to please. You can have a look at the gift shop on the way out, find yourself something nice, and no doubt you'll be asked back. And hopefully that'll be when you can drink again. So
yes,
how exciting is that?
Yep.
That poor buckfuss has been sitting there looking at you.
I know, the ice is melted into it. There's just sad little condensation droplets going down the side. I will swallow you next time. That sounds awful.
Don't
put that bit out. Don't put that in as a blooming...
No, we're definitely leaving that one in. We're definitely leaving it in. As I said, it's been an absolute pleasure. What we're going to do is we're going to put some links up on the website, on the socials, with regards to what we talked about, toolkits, about exercises that can help people.
Exorcisms.
And hopefully somebody can take something away from today. And as we've said, that's all we want to do. We want to educate, and hopefully somebody can, if you're seeking an answer to a question, just reach out, talk to somebody, Google it. There's plenty of avenues and options to find an answer to a question. So please do it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's a wrap, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in and for your time. You know the vibe, I'm steady living until I die. It's a loose state of mind and we showed you that. Keep it authentic and real, I hope you coming back. Hey, make sure that you subscribe, cause we got it popping all the time and it's going down. If you wanna elevate, wanna live a better life, keep it locked here. You know it's a loose state of mind, let's go.